that this, I'm going to describe it first from a CEO's perspective. There's several of you that have run companies in this audience. I've met a few of you and know some of you. It's a period when you are too big to be small and too small to be big. And it is extremely disorienting when you're running that company. You feel like you're losing control. There's a tremendous amount of effort, a lot of activity, but not a lot of forward motion. Mark, you've been there. He's been the CFO of one of these. And it's extremely disorienting. And the process of this transition is actually a function where old rules that got the company to where it is are going to have to be transformed into new rules to get it through no man's land. But it is a feeling to start with, but it's actually a very specific spot in the growth transition. Now, what I'm going to lay out is we believe that you can define a company analytically around 4 M's. The market, the management, the model, and the money. And what we've done is we've created a transition rule, a navigation rule, if you will, for each of those M's. So the rest of my presentation, and Stuart, you got to kind of keep an eye on me on time-wise. The rest of my presentation is about what goes on in each one of those areas, what navigation rule has to be executed in those areas, or the company will not make that transition. And then if we're interested or got a little time, we'll answer some questions. Now let's start off with the first one, which is the market end. In the early stages of these companies, what you have is an entrepreneur who is out in the market with part of his or her time, and part of his or her time is in operations. What they are doing is they are out there with absolute intimate contact with customers, and they are making customer promises. And at the same time, simultaneously, they're adjusting the operations to meet those promises. How many of y'all been there? I mean, a lot of CISO heads, exactly. So you're out there, and by the way, this is where the innovation happens. Okay, and what's interesting about it is that you have an intuitive sense about what promises you can make and what you have to do to deliver on those promises, right? And you keep it right on the edge, right on the red line. Well, what we found is fascinating is that what happens is that there is a physical limit. And I say physical, I'm talking about the entrepreneur's physical ability limit to doing that. And they have pain thresholds that are way beyond normal, way, way beyond normal. But if you look at the early phases of these companies, they are the epitome of a market-driven company. They are simple to do business with. That's my definition of a market-driven firm.